Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Tolvin, and I'm the junior editor of the Patriot Press. And here I am with,
Ishan, Sinha.
Angadh Singh.
and they are our Valedictorian and Salutatorian for the senior class. And today I'm here with them because they have accomplished great things and they're very interesting people. And I myself and all of you want to hear about their lives and hear about what they were like when they were younger, what they did in high school and how they got to the place that they are today, and also what they're looking to do after high school. So, yeah, we're just going to jump right in. I get started with the most basic questions. So, first off, where are you going to college and what is your major?
I'm going to Cornell University to study computer science and biological sciences.
And I'm going to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute to study biological sciences and computer science.
Okay, so we're going to start with some background. So, did you guys grow up in Wayne, and if you did, which schools did you go to?
Yeah, I've been in Wayne my whole life. I started at Pines Lake and then went to Schuyler, and now I'm here.
And I did nothing the same. I went to JFK, I went to Anthony Wayne, and then now we're here.
Sounds like something the same.
All right, well, whatever.
What kind of students were you back in elementary and middle school? Were you always focused on school and everything?
Elementary school, I was a pretty bad kid, to say the least. I was constantly getting in trouble, but I would say I was still relatively smart back then. And then in middle school, I was a good kid.
I was a great kid in elementary school and a not as great kid in middle school.
Ishan, you should tell us about your pre-elementary school experiences.
I was kicked out of 4 preschools. No, I wasn't kicked out. I wasn't kicked out. I left 4 preschools.
Left.
Willingly.
Asked to leave.
No, willingly.
Okay.
Where were they? Were they around here?
Yeah, Apple Monastery. I don't remember the other ones. And I graduated from Ponds Valley, so best preschool in Wayne, New Jersey.
How did you envision your future a few years back? Were you always I want to go to an Ivy League school, or?
I guess I'll go first. Is my goal ultimately has always been to be a doctor and go into medicine, and that's something I've wanted for a long time. So although I ended up getting into a BSMD, I think that was my focus from the start.
For me, when I was younger, I never really thought I would care about where I went to college. It was more when I went to high school that I started looking into it more. I always knew I wanted to do something medicine related, and then I found computer science more in high school, so that's why I've decided to double major.
Would you guys say that your families have had a big impact on what you want to do?
Well, yeah, for me, I don't know about Ishan and if he saw what his parents were doing and if that influenced him in any way. But for me, personally, my dad is really into computer science, and when I was younger, he was working really long hours. So that's kind of what kept me away from computer science, and I really want to have a career where I could just spend time with my family.
Well, my dad also works in computer science. That's more what got me into computer science. My brother also went down that path, which is why I'm going to at least try to explore it. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to continue to do, but yeah, we're still going to try.
So you want to be an engineer someday?
I'm pretty much undecided on what I want to do after college, which is why I'm double majoring. If I continue with biology, then I'll go down the med school route and become some kind of surgeon. But if I stick with computer science, then I'll be a software engineer or something in that field.
Okay, so I think what a lot of people want to know is what was the application process like? How did you guys get into the schools you got into? Were there any setbacks or failures? So the first part of it is in general, what was it like for you?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Mine's a little bit longer. So I applied to around 52 schools. Wow. So it was kind of a rough application process for me. It actually started all the way in May, which is when I started writing my personal statement. And then as soon as applications opened, I think it was August 1st, it was I had no time. All I was doing was writing. And the reason I was applying to 50 schools is because I applied to the normal 20 schools, that's normal undergraduate. And then I applied to 30 BSMD programs, which are combined undergrad and med school programs. So those are kind of especially rough because those tend to have 3 to 5 essays per program. So it was just a lot of writing for me.
Yeah, so I wasn't as big of a nerd. I decided to leave my house every once in a while. Still not too much. I applied to like 15 schools. And yeah, I think that's like a pretty average amount these days. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know anything past that.
What kind of college experience were you looking for? Like, were you looking for like a city or more of like a green landscape?
I was I didn't really look into the experience too much because I had like my sights set on BSMD. So I mean, anywhere where I got in would have been good enough. But I'm actually glad where I ended up because it is like it's in a smaller city, but it's still like a city like area. So like that's something nice that I'm enjoy to have.
Yeah, for me, I was okay with either kind of area. I did want to try living in the city, but I'm okay with not being able to do that. My brother goes to UMich, so he was always in a college town, so Ithaca is somewhat similar to that, so I'm glad I ended up there.
You guys don't have to go into like detail, but were there any like setbacks or failures that like influenced the process, like rejections or anything?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll go first because Ishan was one and done. So so I applied restrictive early action to Princeton, and I just like got deferred, and I really thought like I had a pretty good shot at Princeton, and when I got deferred, I was like kind of like a little bit in shock. Although like that's a little bit, there's no guarantees obviously, but like after that, I was like, all right, like I have to change something about my application. So I like completely rewrote my personal statement and like just rocked with a different one.
Yeah, for me, I was like one and done. Cornell was my ED school, early decision, so once I got accepted, I rescinded all my other applications. So,
Do you guys want to share what your personal statements were about?
yeah, so my personal statement was about jump roping, which is a hobby I had over quarantine. I used to like jump rope for like an hour or two every day, so that's why I think when people think about personal statements, a lot of times try to cite their resume. And I think it's more important to talk about something that makes you unique, so they can see something real about you.
I guess I'll talk about both my personal statements and why I chose to run with the second one. So my first personal statement was it was kind of about just like listening to the people around you, and it's kind of like the idea that you're the sum of like your closest like couple friends. And I think like where I fell flat was that it was like I wasn't able to connect it closely to stuff that I had done or things that like were very personal to me. It was just like an idea that I believed in. And then my second personal statement was about a garden that my grandfather he he cultivated. He lives like with our family, so like in our backyard he gardens a lot, and he recently fell into like some health issues, so he wasn't able to garden. So like something that I did for him while he was like sick was I did like all the gardening and stuff, and I connected that to like how like
Just start that over again.
yeah like from the
No, just like start a sentence.
okay.
Yeah.
So I ended up connecting it like growing plants and how like all like there's this concept in biology called like I forgot the biological term, but essentially that the plants are ultimately connected at the roots, and they actually do something called resource sharing. So it's in the same way that like the plants share resources with each other, like we as a community work together and we build our each other up, and I think that was a lot better because it showed like kind of the values that I believe in as well as like something that I actually did.
And you used that essay for like all the other schools, right? Besides Princeton?
I used it for most of the Ivies and most of the Ivies and all of the BSMDs.
What was the Ivy process like for you guys? Did you guys apply to like all of them?
I applied to all 8.
I applied to 2 or 3 of them, no, 2 of them, and I would have applied to all the other ones in the week after I got rejected from Cornell. If I did get rejected, I would just like speed through them, but I didn't have to.
So this is a question for Angadh. Why did you commit to Cornell at first?
I did commit to Cornell.
And then you decommitted, right?
I decommitted 2 days ago. Yeah.
Okay. So can you go into like more detail about that?
Yeah. So the BSMD process it's a little bit weird because it's not on the same time scale as the college admission process. So I received my interview in December for the program that I'm now committed to. I interviewed in January, and then they put me on the alternate list after I had gotten into Cornell. So the alternate list is basically like just a waiting list, but it like moves a little bit more because a lot of people are filtering in and out. But like May 1st came and I still hadn't got my acceptance from RPI. So I ended up just committing to Cornell, and then since I got off the wait list literally like 2 days ago, I decided to commit there because it's just an easier path to being a doctor. I mean, something that's good about the BSMD program, it's 7 years, so 3 years undergrad. And also I don't have to take the MCAT, which is like a huge like stress relief.
Okay, so unfortunately, our podcast has to end there because the second half was accidentally deleted somehow. It's unfortunate because Angadh and Ishan said some great things about what they're looking forward to for after high school, and they went into more detail about some of the stuff they've done and also what their personal lives are like. So it's kind of a bummer that we have to end it here, but what we got was great, and thank you all for listening. I hope you learned a lot about them, and yeah, wish them luck in college. Bye.